Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. A very good evening to respected members, honorable chairperson, speakers, and all listeners. I welcome you all in an international webinar on a current status and a future of Ayurveda in Italy, which is organized by Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad and Yog Milano Anand Ashram. Before coming to the main program, it is my humble request to all participants to kindly mute their mic to avoid any disturbance during the webinar. So now let us begin. Let us begin this webinar with the blessings of Lord Dhanvantri. For this, I request our National General Secretary of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, respected Professor Ashwini Bhargav sir, for a deep prajwalan, and Dr. Nikita Sharma ma'am from All India Institute of Ayurveda for Dhanvantri Stavan. Please, sir.
Namami Dhanvantarim Adidevam Surasure Vandit Pad Padmam Loke Jararuk Bhayamrityunasham Datarmisham Vidhoshathinam Dhanvantari Namanartham Sarvaroga Nivarakam Ayurvedo Pravattaram Vande Piyushadayakam Sarve Janah Sukhino Bhavantum Sarve Santu Niramaya Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi.
Ayurveda and the other branches of Ayurveda system of medicine are known for its holistic approach. The principle of Ayurveda are immortal. It is the need to be the contemporary, making up to the current scientific trends together with the integration of technologies and propagating Ayurveda to the mainstream globally. Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad is doing timely efforts for this by organizing various international webinars, and continuation of this, today's international webinar on the current status and the future of Ayurveda in Italy is held. Now I request respected Professor Dr. K.K. Dwivedi sir. Sir is an active member of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad and head of Provincial Committee, a Sampark Cell. Sir also a head of Department of Kai Chikitsa and Panchakarma at Ayurveda College, Banarasa, and the ex-member of CCIM and the Board of Governors. I request sir to welcome our dignitaries and the participants with his warm words. Please, sir.
Hari Om, Dhanvantare Namah. I, on behalf of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, welcome the guests who are present over here in this international chapter of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad. First of all, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Professor K.S. Dhimanji, who is the ex-DG of CCRS and presently working as a professor in Shalakya Tantra in Banaras University. I welcome Dr. Subhaji Satyanarayan Paul. He is the chairperson of this very webinar. I welcome Carmen Kohalar, the distinguished guest of today. I also welcome our keynote addresses, Dr. Enugianta Valente, Laura Guglielmi, Giovanni Chisione, Gionemi Fico, Valentina Neapolitano, Georgia Valentina Pfizer, Dr. Sudeepa Mara Grandi Uetti, and Dr. Manuela. Apart from this, in this very seminar, I also welcome our President of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, Dr. Govind Shukla ji, our Secretary, our General Secretary, Dr. Ashwini Bhargav ji, And the main person who are organizing this program, Dr. Kartikeya ji, Dr. Swaminath Mishra ji. I also welcome our National Secretary, our Guru, Professor Yogesh Mishra ji, and the person who is behind this whole program, Professor Mahesh Vyas ji. I cannot leave the welcoming to Dr. Suren Chaudhary ji, who has provided all these things for successful organizing of this webinar, and also all the participants. I welcome you from the core of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this welcome speech. Now I would like to call Dr. Surendra Chaudhary, sir. Sir is a member court of University Shri Krishna Ayush University, Haryana. Sir is a president of Vishwayurveda Parishad, Uttar Pradesh, and the office secretary, Central Office, Vishwayurveda Parishad. Sir, please introduce us with the work of Vishwayurveda Parishad.
Thank you, Bhagyasri. And namaste to all the participants, the dignitaries from India and Italy, and all the speakers. And I'm giving the task to introduce Vishwayurveda Parishad. So Vishwayurveda Parishad is one of the apex Ayurvedic organization working in the field of Ayurveda in India and abroad. We have over 10,000 members, the live members, including the manufacturers, the college institutions, and we have presentation in more than 10 countries, having almost 150 overseas members of Vishwayurveda Parishad. Vishwayurveda Parishad was initially initiated in 1997 with the sole motto of spreading Ayurveda and to establish Ayurveda to its past glory. So we are working in all the fields related to the Ayurveda, namely the institutions, the students, the faculty, the physicians, the herb growers, the drug manufacturers, and of course, general people, for whom we are supposed to give the best among the best. So we have categorically divided our organization in different divisions, particularly looking after the fraternity. For example, we have students wing solely after the well-being and upgradation of their knowledge of the students. We have teachers wing, we have physicians wing, and recently we have started a very noble wing named as the Anusandhana Parishad, or the research wing of Vishwayurveda Parishad, which is looking after the research work and particularly the manuscript collection and interpreting that manuscripts in the modern languages, either in English or in Sanskrit or Hindi. We are regularly organizing health checkup camps, free distribution of the medicine, and personality development camps for students, physicians, and as well as for the institutional faculties. So in brief, we are working in all the 4 or 5 verticals of Ayurveda very sincerely. And again, I can say that we are the largest organization working in the field of Ayurveda. I welcome you all on this platform and hope that all of you will push forward our motto to keep or to bring Ayurveda to its past glory. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this brief introduction of Vishwayurveda Parishad. Now I request with Dr. Swaminathan Mishra, sir. Sir is a very famous practitioner, researcher, author, poet, and a social worker. Till now, sir has written more than 25 books related to Ayurveda and the Sanskrit material. Sir is currently working at the MCD Ayurveda Hospital, New Delhi, and sir has run his own clinical practice also. Sir is a director of a school of Ayurveda, Holistic School, Anandashram, Milan, Italy, and also a convener of Vishwayurveda Parishad, Videsh Vibhag. Here I request sir to introduce us with the work of Videsh Vibhag of Vishwayurveda Parishad. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. As Dr. Suren Chaudhary introduced Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad. Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, literally the meaning, the word Ayurveda Council. So it is this organization is working all over the global, and many countries we have our representative, especially Italy, Germany, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, America, England, and other countries, African countries also, some representative we have. We are organizing continuously training program for the foreigners to do updates in the Ayurvedic knowledge. The Ayurveda in the India, a different way we work on this, but in the foreign countries, in the global level, we are giving more attention to the prevention. In the Ayurveda, we work in the Sanchay, Prakop, Prasar, Sthan, Sansay, Vyakt, and Bhed, the 6 stages. So 4 stages: this accumulation, aggravation, manifestation, and this aggravation and deposition, and then manifestation and differentiation of the diseases. So 4 stages, we work on the 4 stages: the Sanchay, Prakop, Prasar, and Sthan, Sansay. So we can work more on the preventive aspects. Also, food are very important. So we are giving in the global level, food is very important. So food, to correct the food system, we can correct the body system. Normally, this is the global principle in Ayurveda, which deals all the disease, is responsible for the disease, sickness, and for the health. That is the velocity, energy, and resistance. That they are called in Ayurveda Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So we are giving more attention to balance the body. In Italy and other countries also, Ayurveda is accepted as a food supplement, the herbal medicine. That is only the way of working. We work on the food, and in Ayurveda, in India, that is medicine. So we cure by the food also the diseases, but we give more attention to the prevention, to protect the disease, our body from the diseases. We organize some training program also for the foreigner. In India, we can come, but nowadays it is difficult due to the corona. So we cannot organize the offline program. So we will organizing in future for the foreigner, the training program online can be done. So these are our activities in the foreign and the global level. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this brief introduction. Now I would like to introduce you all with our chief guest speaker, Professor Dr. K.S. Diban, sir. Sir has a specialization in ENT and ophthalmology. Sir was a director of ITRA Jamnagar, one of the nationally important institute of India, and also a head of department of Shalakya Tantra. Sir has also worked in a CCRS as a general director, and many fruitful research work was done under his guidance. Currently, sir is working as a head of department of ENT at BHU Varanasi. Many PhD and MD theses have still now completed under the guidance of sir. I request sir to bless us with his word of wisdom. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to be the chief guest of today's international webinar. First of all, I convey my namaste and good evening from India. Friends, Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, which we can translate into English, World Ayurveda Congress or Confederation. The real message of Ayurveda is universal. That's why Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad has a very great step, taken a great step by opening a international chapter of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad. The Indian culture never restricts itself to India, oneself. That way Ayurveda is also universal, and the importance has been very nicely been experienced in these last 2 years of this epidemic, COVID-19 epidemic. We cannot get isolated. The health of one country, health of one individual depends upon the health of everyone. And this message is the real message of Ayurveda. So, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. World is a family, and Indian culture talks about the wellness, happiness of each and every one on this earth. My greetings to Subhaji Satyanarayanan, Carmen Kohler, Vaidya Swaminathan Mishraji, and the organizer Professor Kartikeya Tyagi, our mentor and leader in India of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, Vaidya SP Mishraji, my dear friend and elder brother Surendra Chaudhary, and Bhai Kamlesh ji, who are the torchbearer of this organization, and our friends from Italy, who are the speakers today. I will name, if I pronounce them wrongly, please excuse me. Anujiata Ayer Guglemi, Govani Criscono, Guglani Fico, Valentini, Gorgia Valentini, Sudeepa Mara, and Manulia. Please accept my greetings. Friends, I remember the year 2008 when first time I visited Milan. There was an international conference there, and I was deputed from Ministry of Ayush that time. I was working professor in Jamnagar. And I gave one presentation also. I remember that small hall which was fixed for that meeting, and many more chairs were arranged on the spot during the conference, because it was an overwhelming response for Ayurveda from Italy. And I remember that year 2008. Today, the current scenario of Ayurveda and the future Ayurveda in Italy. About future we will discuss after we learn from our speakers from Italy and our dear friends Subhaji Satyanarayan about the current status, what development has already taken place about Ayurveda in Italy. The future scenario, we can draw a roadmap for the future also. Very nicely said by Dr. Mishra ji, Vaidya Swaminarayan Mishra ji, that in international scenario we can work at present due to the medical laws on the preventive aspect. This is very right. For prevention, the knowledge base, whatever is prevailing in system of Ayurveda, that can be universalized, keeping in view the local atmosphere, the environmental conditions, the food habits, and the living standards, living style, and everything can be implemented from Ayurveda system. That knowledge can be implemented from the Ayurveda system to each and every individual. But this knowledge has to be transformed in a practical form. That is the responsibility of all of us who are working in Italy in the field of Ayurveda. That knowledge has to be transferred and brought into practice in a practical manner. The small health tips which Ayurveda propagates are of great use. And friends, you first of all experience all those lifestyle and dietic habits yourself, the changes you will find will give you energy to propagate it. Secondly, the what message I want to give on this very auspicious occasion where Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad International Chapter has come on the one platform, that message is the message regarding the creation of evidence and bringing it to the practice. In the very beginning, first episode of COVID-19, we have an international webinar where Dr. Maurice Marendi was also there, and I asked him, because in India, Ayush systems, traditional systems came into action very fast during the epidemic. And I asked him what your country is doing regarding this COVID until some vaccine or medicine is not fixed for that. So he simply told me, we are waiting for the vaccine and nothing, and no medicine is proven. We are waiting for the, why I asked him, why don't you start practicing the hours experience of traditional medicines? They are not allowed, he told. They are not allowed. So is it a right approach towards the humanity? That message has to be given to the policymakers. When there is nothing for anything, then whatever is prevailing in our vicinity, in our knowledge, in our periphery, or other countries are doing, we should adopt them. The creation of evidence will only be possible when we are alive, when we are surviving. What importance that evidence will be when we are not healthy and when we are not existing. So evidences are created once we start practice. So these international barriers of law, they are a hindrance towards the humanity. They are the barriers to the survival of the humanity. We have to raise our voice. So whatever is prevailing, best prevailing for health across the borders of the country, they must be brought into the country and they must be allowed to be practiced. This two messages I want to give you. This universal knowledge is always for all human beings, and even for animals and birds also. That branch also exists, and we, the Indians, are always with you for providing you the assistance. And anytime the government as well as all sectors of Ayurveda working in this field are with you. I wish all the success and very best, so that in the coming years we should not suffer as we suffered in the last 2 years. With these words, I stop my version. Thank you very much. Namaste again.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words and the very essential message for the world. Now, without taking much time, let's move forward with the main theme of today's webinar, for which everybody is eagerly waiting. For this, I would like to invite our first guest speaker and also a chairperson of this webinar, Subhaji Satyaranjan Paul. His area of specialization is yoga and meditation. Over 30 years of experience, he practices and teaches yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, and the Ayurvedic treatment in different countries. He founded the holistic school Anand Ashram Association in Milan, Italy. Please begin with your talk, sir.
First of all, my deep regards to all dignitaries. Without naming any one of them, because I am afraid that I might mistake, simply my deep regards to all of the panel, and at the same time, whoever is watching us from abroad and outside. My deep regards on Ayurveda, what little I have learned, my thanks, deep thanks goes to Dr. Swaminath Mishra, because it is he who brought me into light the Ayurvedic knowledge. As you said, that my field of activities lying in yoga and meditation, but I understood there was something lacking. And with the help of Dr. Mishra being here as elder brother of mine, so he taught me with lot of patience, with lot of love, what the message of Ayurveda. So far as Ayurveda in Italy is concerned, I can tell you, there used to be a trend where people used to think that Ayurveda is an alternative medicine. And that stuck into my mind. I understood, first of all, after learning Ayurveda, what I learned, Ayurveda is not a medicine. Ayurveda is a way of life. It's a science of life. Whoever has life at his or her disposal has the right, has the responsibility to learn and practice Ayurveda in his or her life. So I engaged myself through this Ananda Ashram, holistic school Ayurveda Ananda Ashram. I tried to introduce people, telling that first of all, we must take out this word alternative medicine. Alternative, you normally say, once something which come later. I mean, there has to be something which is original and something which is alternative. To my understanding, Ayurveda is an original way of living and curing. It is not an alternative medicine. So I'm teaching, I'm trying to change this attitude of the people, that they should not see Ayurveda simply as an alternative medicine, but it's a way of life. We have been teaching Ayurveda through this Ananda Ashram since 2005, when Dr. Mishra came to our school and he started teaching. I understood the message. The message is Ananda. Message is that we need to find happiness. The happiness that we are looking for, it should not be, it is simply wastage of time by looking for happiness outside of us, outside world. The happiness that one is looking for should look into themselves, look into the self. And because of these teachings, including yoga and meditation, I find it's a fantastic combination of three different disciplines which can help not only the one who is practicing, who is adopting Ayurveda as way of life, but also for other people who has not come yet on the line. They could also see how nicely Ayurvedic people can live without getting into the medicine, without getting into other activities. Normally, the medicine is given to the sick people. Those who are sick, they go and look for medicine. But Ayurveda is not for sick only. Ayurveda is for everyone. Whoever has life as he at his or her disposal. So this is what I'm trying to promote through Ananda Ashram. And I must tell you, I'm really, really happy that we have found a way, is a holistic way to teach people that they can live with a lot of enthusiasm, lot of energy, and lot of experience. Life is not simply something to live, in Bangla it is said, dinagata papa khay, like every day passes by as if you were expelling all the sins that you have accumulated. It is not the spirit of life. The spirit of life, to my understanding, is to realize the value, realize the objective, and after all, to be united with that creator who has created human being, but also created all living and non-living beings of this universe. So this approach, this universal approach, has to be introduced, and we are doing our best from Ananda Ashram with the original teachings of Dr. Mishra. We are simply trying with our capacity that we have to make people aware of life has its own value and we must not devaluate it. As my Dr. Dhimanji also said, that what would be our next step in Ayurveda in Italy, what would be the future course of action, we will be surely discussing and implementing after we have come to some conclusion from this meeting. So I would wait for that, and I would leave this platform to my next speaker, who can enlighten us with his guidance and speeches. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Subhaji sir, for sharing your words and sharing the aims of Holistic School Anand Ashram. Thank you, sir. Now I invite our next key speaker and also a distinguished guest, Karma Kohler. Karma Kohler is currently working as a director of Engel Ayurveda Hotel Nova Levante, Bolzano, Italy. Sir, please proceed with your talk.
Yes, good afternoon to everyone. I'm very happy to be here in this webinar, that you have invited me and that I have the opportunity to discuss with you, but for the first part to learn from you, because I think that you're all a very precious person and we can learn a lot of your lifestyle that we live here in Europe. First, I want to tell you that my approach to Ayurveda, it's since many years ago that I was interested in Ayurveda for a personal problem of health. And so I studied a lot and I read a lot about Ayurveda, and I felt there was really something, there is a big force kind of force in Ayurveda, and I was really attracted of this. And then we always say there is something that keeps us on the right path in the life. So life is a path, and we had the possibility to know Subhashi, and through him we came to Dr. Mishra. And I must say I'm really happy, but really gratitude to Subhashi, but especially to Dr. Mishra, that he's now living with us here from since 3 years ago. And is really a very precious person for us, because he introduced the really Ayurveda style in our hotel. Because first our hotel had a spa with treatments, Ayurvedic treatments, but now we have not only treatments, now we have a philosophy in here. And Ayurveda is really, as Subhashi already told us, it's a way of life. It's a life on a path. And we must really say that it's very important for people here in Europe, living here in Europe, to have approach to this way of life that you are living, that simple way of life. Because here in the hotel, we always see people they are very rich people. They have everything, but they are very empty inside. They come here and they say, I come here to find myself. So they are searching always for something. They are not happy. And as Subhashi told us, and Dr. Misha always says, we must try to live with a lot of consciousness. We must appreciate everything what we have. We must appreciate food. We must appreciate nature. We must have a new approach to all these things. And I think that through Ayurveda, we are able to do this. And I think our philosophy in the hotel is now to give really good Ayurveda philosophy to the people, but not only during, only with treatments, but in food, but also with this meditation and personal yoga and this many things, and learning people to go to a new way of life. And I see that when people are leaving the hotel, they are really happy. They are happy and they phone us and they write me and they say, you changed my life and you gave me indication for a really happy life. And now I have discovered the really important thing in my life. And so I think that here in the hotel, we have the possibility, as in other facilities, as schools or other things, to give people the chance to find the happiness, the real happiness in their life. And this for me is, the mission for me is to help people, to help with Dr. Misha, we both say that people must have benefit when they come to us. They must go home and they must have really benefit. And so they will go on and they will talk about Ayurveda and the full philosophy of Ayurveda. So I think we have a good possibility to give people this, this new introduction to a new life. And yes, and we know also that Ayurveda has great importance in Germany, because in the clinic of Charité in Berlin, they are now already using Ayurveda against the classical medicine. So they have discovered that Ayurveda is really something very precious. And for this, I want also send a message that it is important to introduce maybe in hotel or in other facilities Ayurveda to give people the possibility to find their happiness. But it is also important that Ayurveda must not become a business, because I think this is really important, not to become a business, because it's too much, it's too precious to become a business. It has its own force. And I'm really happy to have it here in our hotel. I'm happy to study always with Dr. Misha, because he always, yes, I learn every day from him, and we will do our best to give it to Italian people, but also to people coming from Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Great Britain, so to open the world of Ayurveda to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your experience of working with Ayurveda in Italy. Now, I would like to call our next speaker, Annunziata Violante. She has started to study the Ayurveda in Turin, Italy in the 1989 and 1990. She is doing a conference on Ayurveda and taking Ayurvedic cooking classes, and also an organizer workshops in Turin and in different towns. Please begin with your talk, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody. You hear me? Welcome. It's my pleasure to speak with you about Ayurveda food. The Ayurveda philosophy believes that we are that we eat. Food is very important for nourishing not just the body, but also the mind and the consciousness. The time of eating the right kind of posture will eating and amount of food to consume matters quality as such type of food we eat. A balanced diet and a healthy daily habit can contribute fondly in treatment or prevention of a disease. My task is to teach how to make good food and make you happy, enjoy people. Here, we are here, I'm here in Italy. It's my task to show people how to understand the connection, the spices, the power with the spices, the food, the time to eat, and the amount of food. I started Ayurveda a long time ago. I started in Italy, in Turin. I have one business store with natural food. So when I met the Ayurveda from the doctor Pankaj Smith in Italy, I'm very attracted for it this way because giving me so much experience when I have a relationship with it is with food, and also to show people and give the good taste to people. It is food what I make. So step by step in my life, I work so much deep for understanding how's mean Ayurveda food. What kind of power have it is Ayurveda? What's mean? So I study very deep, very profound. I have very relation with this vegetable, the spice, everything. So when I have this relation, for me, after it's very easy to teach the people. This is my power, my task to give what I receive for many years, what I study for many years, to give to other people, to understanding is very important to food, because the food is life. We don't have a good food. The mind is very agitation and not happy. And we creation a lot of toxin in your body. So when we test the food, good food, it's very, the power with in top of the mouth have relation with the mind. And the mind recognize if this is the right food for your body or not. So I work in Italy for many years about Ayurveda workshop. And some people think Ayurveda is only Indian food, but it's not. So Ayurveda is life. It's my pleasure now to give information in the Italian cuisine to recognize and work in this culture, the balanced food, the good spice, a good flavor, a good amount of food. And for your constitution, that is very important. So the food, Ayurveda food, give me a lot of knowledge. It's 1 year and a half. I work almost every day with the Skype in relation with other people in United States, in New York, every day. It's amazing because I know food. I have relation food. It's no matter I'm far away. And people, when they test, show me, and soon I recognize, yes, it's good taste, it's perfect, good amount. Take more lemon juice, or more salt, or more spicy. That is power. That's Ayurveda food giving me this power. So I want to say thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to speak with all of you and to present everybody what I know is my knowledge, what I want to give to people. That is my goal, my purpose. So I thank you to nature for to give to us so much food, so much abundance food. And we play with the color, with the food we take from the garden, from the field. We have so much what to do. So we need only understand a relation with the vegetable, the spice, the grain, everything. And we make you happy because when you have good food, we are happy. And the mind is very peaceful. It's perfect for good life. Thank you so much, everybody, for giving me this opportunity. I hope to see you soon again. Enjoy and for your way. Thank you, everybody. Namaste.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your fruitful talk and sharing your work experience. Now I would like to call our next speaker, Giovanni Crisone. Sir is a teacher of Ayurveda and Ayurvedic methodologies for wellness. More than the 20 years, he attained a specialization courses in Abhyanga, traditional Ayurvedic massage, and Panchakarma, body purification, in the Netherlands. He has created an Ayurveda ashram, a place for the study and the practice of Ayurveda together with the practice of meditation. And this project is called as Land of Joy. Please begin with your talk, sir. Call our next speaker, Giovanni Pico, sir. Sir is practicing and studying meditation, yoga, and Ayurveda since from the age of 70. And in 1976, he became a teacher of the transcendental meditation and began the study of Ayurveda. Currently collaborated with the several association as a teacher in a training program for Ayurvedic operators at a hotel of Eagle Ayurvedic Spa in Italy. Please begin with your talk, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening to everyone. And I think Giovanni, the other Giovanni didn't have the microphone on, so it's only this. Good. So the state of Ayurveda in Italy, we can understand from previous speakers that Ayurveda in Italy is growing. It's growing, I think, also fast. But it is, if we can compare to the life of a human being, I think it is in its teenager level. It has to come to maturity. It is still considered, as Shubhaji said, an alternative medicine. But we know that it is not like this. It's a kind of life and health. It's described in Ayurveda from its generation. So currently Ayurveda in Italy is growing. There are many schools, many hotels that has Ayurvedic spa, as the hotel of Carmen Cola and Nova Levante. And I am pleased to work with Dr. Mishra there and with her, and having been before in the school of Shubhaji. So what will be the future? I think the future will be something that it's global for all humanity, not only for Italy. We are now in a time very particular in the history of humanity, we have to make a choice. What we have to do for our future, the quality of life on this planet. We know that there are many, many problems due to environment, climate change, pandemics, general health, the welfare of the people. So I want to put to your attention research that has been done recently from a researcher which is called Gaia Harrington. She is working in a company called KPMG, which is an accounting company, and she is the director of analysis in the sustainability and the dynamics of the system. So she took a research done in 1972 by MIT in the United States about the limits of growth of how it is organized our society, the exploitation of natural resources, the growth of the economy, which is the goal of every economist, the government, etc. So they did a research in 1972 on how long we can go on this way. And so they studied different parameters, about 10, birth rate, the number of the population, death rate and fertility, industrial production, food production, non-renewable resources, pollution, environmental impact, etc. And they came to the conclusion that the growth will go on till the middle of this century, 2040, 2050, about. And then there will be a decline in all these parameters, the population, the birth rate, the death rate will go on, pollution exponentially. And so this lady, Gaia Harrington, took this research done in 1972, after 50 years, with all the new data we have. It is confirmed or not? It was confirmed. And she made 3 scenarios. One, if we go on as usual, like in the past, if we go on applying the new innovation technology we have in this time, and both these scenarios says that around the middle of this century, there will be a decline. The only way to come out to this tendency is a third scenario where the innovation technology is applied with extensive, consistent investment in public health and education. And here comes the help of Ayurveda. We know Ayurveda gives us the basic education about how life works individually, in the society, in the whole planet, and I will say in the universe, and has means to assist us with our health. So the future of Ayurveda in Italy and in the world, if we want to come out of this dangerous time humanity is facing, is to apply this knowledge. So, dear friends, I think, and also from the research comes out that we have to go in the correct line of evolution. We have only about 10 years years to change our lifestyle, to change our objective. So I think in the next years we will have, dear friends, a lot of work to do, and I wish you all my best greetings for the future, and thanks a lot for inviting me again here with all of you. Namaste.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experience. Now I would like to call our next speaker, Valenito Napolitano. She is an Okada yoga teacher, and over the years, she has enriched her training with the different well-known teachers. With the specialization modules and the open and online yoga schools, she starts to maturate a strong interest to the feminine words to support a woman and their family during their pregnancies, labor, and maternity that will be completed with the yoga and the Ayurveda, and conducted meditation sessions to employees of the companies like Diesel, Adidas, Reebok. Please begin with the talk, Valentino.
Hello, hi to everyone, and thank you very much to invite me to this webinar. It's very nice to see all of you. And a special thanks for me is going to Shubhaji and Dr. Mishra. I am a student of Ananda Ashram. So today we are talking about the future of Ayurveda. And for me, in my opinion, we cannot talk about the future without talking about the origin. And for me, my origin is Ananda Ashram, so where everything begins. And this is also something that is very important for a good future in Ayurveda. In general, to have like good schools and good aggregation of students, teachers, practitioners, with seminars, follow-up with meetings like this one, to share all together what Ayurveda is, to not feel like lonely in this path, and to grow good practitioners, good students, good doctors, and good people that can work well and pass the information, pass the action of Ayurveda, what Ayurveda can do. So this is like a very important part for me, because without this, we don't go anywhere in Italy. It's something that comes from another culture, so we need to go very deep on the studies. So the studies of this, it's very, very important, and not only taking a diploma and go, but it's very important to continue to be a student in the future as well, to don't lose the essence of the Ayurveda. And the other origin for me, it's because I work with pregnancy, with women. So my intention is to go deep in Ayurveda with women and pregnancy and postpartum, with the women that wants to approach this way of life. And this is very nice for me to work in this way, because it's another origin, the origin of life. When a child is not yet born, we can give the gift to a mother to create a life in a certain way, with a certain power, with a certain happiness. And from the origin, with this seed, she can give as well to her daughters or son what Ayurveda gave to her. So it's an exchange. So this is again to go back to the origin, to go to the future. And I think this is like my little drop that I can give in this big ocean of Ayurveda. I consider myself still a student, as I said before. So this is amazing for me to continue to discover and to learn every day from Ayurveda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Valenita, for sharing your work experience. And I think Giovanni Cresonesa has come back in online. Sir, please share your work experience with us.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So namaste to everyone. So I can speak about my experience on Ayurveda, and then about the present and future is depend of about all the work that everyone give. You see, my experience on Ayurveda started in 1980 in India, in Marishinagar in Noida. And then on 1985, I just follow a course for Panchakarma therapist. And then I was working as a Ayurveda therapist for 3 years in Italy, in North Italy, in Como, with some good doctor, Italian doctor, is Ior Guglielmi, Ernesto Iannacone, Linda Farinelli. Then after some years, I was following a course on Banaras Indian University with Professor Ramesh Singh. With him, I collaborate in Sicily, where we start to give lectures and also courses. But the most important work that I think I did was just in these last 20 years, because I started to give courses on the field of wellness, especially in the field of beauty. I started to introduce Ayurveda in the School of Beautician, National School of Beautician. And then a lot of people just started to enjoy Ayurveda. I think more than 3,000 people follow my courses. And this make a big, I think, this spread Ayurveda in all the part of Italy. In the same time, I made a website, is Ayurveda Italia. Is one of the websites more followed from a lot of people. And this website just give the opportunity to spread the Ayurveda. So this is what I did in the last 25 years. At the moment, I start a new project. Is just to create a small center, I can say clinic, Ayurveda clinic, where we give all the treatment. People come here in Sicily, in this place. I call him Land of Joy, Anandaloka. And we have we give the opportunity for all the treatment on Ayurveda, the Purva Karma Ayurveda, so all the external treatment, like Abhyanga, Udvartana, Svedana, Shirodhara, Shirovasti, Pichu, Kadivasti, Uruvasti, and so on. So people come, just enjoy the treatment, and they stay in the center where they just also practice meditation, yoga, and I still give a lecture on Ayurveda and courses on Ayurveda. I am not a doctor. I am a Ayurveda technician. So I just give all the knowledge linked to wellness, so to improve life. As was my first course made in India with Professor Singh. The course that I follow was yoga and Ayurveda for better living. So from that experience course, I started to give lecture in Italy, giving just the knowledge of Ayurveda, this so nice, beautiful, complete knowledge of life to improve life, to make life better. This is what I'm doing, and for future, I think is to enjoy everyone, to join everyone together, doctors and therapists, technicians, to just spread Ayurveda as not only as a sign of medicine, but also like science of life, to improve life in all level of life. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity, and enjoy everyone with Ayurveda. Namaste.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your work experience and enlighten us with it. Now I would like to call our next speaker, Georgia Valentina Poiser. She has started her journey in Ayurveda from 2014. Holistic approach concerning lifestyle and nutrition. Currently working as a guide of yoga, also studying the yoga philosophy and a sutra. Her mission is to unify the modern scientific evidence-based knowledge related to well-being and nutrition science together with the ancient holistic wisdom derived from the yoga and Ayurveda. Please begin with your talk.
Good afternoon, everybody from Italy. First of all, I thank Shubaji and also Dr. Mishra, my teacher of Ayurveda, for this invitation here in this webinar. Yes, so I would like to just share my experience. So from my description, you may have heard that I started to study nutrition as my, let's say, academic education. So because since I was very, very young, more or less 18 years old, I started to feel a lot of interest and a resonance with nutrition and how nutrition can help us in our health, in prevention diseases, and especially in having energy to approach everyday lifestyle. And because of that, I started to experiment on myself and doing all by myself, just reading here and there on the internet. I started, for example, to switch on a major consumption of fruits and vegetables, the majority raw, for example, because the normal general knowledge says that you should eat a lot of raw vegetables to get more of vitamins and beneficial nutrients. But in my case, because I have discovered that I have a predominance of Vata dosha, this led me in more or less 1.5 months to have a very low digestion power, to have a lot of issues, to be very, very tired and never complete the digestion properly. And continuing my researches all alone, I discovered many, many years ago a naturopath who was teaching about the ancient medicines, Ayurvedic, and also something about the Chinese medicine. And she was teaching about how to learn eating properly according to the qualities of the food regarding, let's say, the quantity, which is major the focus in Occidental Western way of approaching nutrition. And I got a lot of interest. I was literally fascinated about this because it resonates to me so much. And I started to apply on myself those teachings. So to start applying the consumption of warm water, of cooked vegetables with more juicy, oily, and more humid way of cooking, let's say. And in this way, I could rebalance again my imbalance due to the excess amount of crudities and the vata element in my system, in my body system. So all of this brought me to decide to invest my academic career in studying nutrition science, because I firmly believe in the possibility of unify. In Italy, it's not possible to, let's say, to think about just substitute, let's say, the local knowledge with an external knowledge. But my mission, my aim, my purpose, it is to unify, because I firmly believe in the beneficial and in the potential of both approaches, the Western and the Ayurvedic approach, which literally saved me, because unfortunately in the Western approach, you study the grammatures, the weights of the food you should eat, the quantities. There is an excess focus on the grams. And it is something that doesn't resonate with me at all, because the time I tried to follow a prescriptive approach with a certain amount, it made me develop some problems with food. And this is very, very common, unfortunately, where, in my opinion, eating and getting nourishment should be very spontaneous in the moment in which you are connected with yourself and you can feel what you need. And of course, you have some indications, some general indication that you can accord to your dosha, thanks to the Ayurvedic teachings. You can modify them according to the season or to the way of life you are doing. If you are more sedentary, or if you are traveling a lot, depending on which element you are still stimulating, thanks to the diet, mainly, you can keep balance. And this is something that in the Occidental, in the, let's say, Western nutrition is not considered at all. And it's such a pity, but yes, this is, let's say, my big aim. And also other practices of Ayurveda helped me a lot to balance my very, very strong Vata predominance. And because of this, I really aim to bring them together, because we want to bring unification and not separation. And then also I met yoga in my path, and it also was super, super supportive for me. So I did some teacher trainings course, and I started a bit to teach, mainly among the young, because my colleagues, my friends, because I really believe in the possibility to bring awareness and to develop self-consciousness and self-discovery as soon as possible. Because of course, if you bring some modification, if you want to improve your habits and simply learn more yourself and correct some, let's say, unhealthy patterns, both physical and emotional, if you do it as young as you are, it's easier to change them, of course, because you have less years of stratifications, no? So yes, I am very grateful of the course that I did at Ananda Ashram School, because 2 years ago I started to do my master's degree, and I also wanted to already complete it with some integration, with some Ayurvedic point of view, and I'm really glad of this. So I really hope that this vision of unification and of taking the best out of each practice, each medicine, each point of view can become more and more practiced among also the common nutritionists, let's say, because at least here in Italy, the nutritionist is one of the figures who can approach diets. And unfortunately, for what concerns medicine, the normal doctors don't give so much attention, unfortunately, on nutrition, and don't have so clear the deep connection that exists on the health and the prevention. But nutritionists mainly work on this. So I really hope that in the coming time, there will be the possibility to implement more of Ayurveda. And thank you again for this space and for your attention.
Thank you, Georgia, for sharing your experience of Ayurveda, personal experience of Ayurveda, understanding your body, humor, and treating according to them. Now, I would like to call our next speaker, Sudipa Mara Grandinetti. Ma'am is an Ayurveda operator, yoga instructor. She has begun to work in the field of yoga and Ayurveda since 2000. Also obtaining study certificate of Panchakarma, child pregnancy management, Ayurveda aesthetics at the School of Ayurveda and Panchakarma in Kerala. Please begin with your talk, ma'am.
Namaskar. Thank you everybody for this opportunity, especially to Shubhaji, and I would like to say a special namaskar to him and Dr. Mishra, who I had a chance to meet personally. So, well, this is a great opportunity for me because it's opening up a network and allowing me to see the different realities which are happening actually in Italy. As already said, I started my studies in Kerala, and the majority of my experiences were in India. So sometimes I had difficulties, let's say, to adapt to the Western Italian method of application of Ayurveda, which I think in the practical aspects is sometimes quite different. Yeah, I got a chance to be treated by who I considered very good doctors in India. And I was asked to give my feedback of what I think the future of Ayurveda could be in Italy, and what I think a good, interesting thing could be is research. Because I had a chance in the last 10 years or so to meet some doctors, medical doctor and pharmacist, a couple in specific, and they are working with local herbs with the understanding of Ayurveda. So they apply Ayurvedic knowledge using European herbs. So what I say when I generally give courses, because sometimes there is evening in which I share my experience and knowledge, the little knowledge which I have, I always say, I think personally we cannot milk only one cow, no? So we cannot pretend that India is going to feed the whole world. Of course, there is a big root in there, and we there is a necessity to keep a network, and there is herbs which we cannot find in Europe or in South America, and then when I don't have something, I can ask my sisters or my brothers, can you help me? Do you have something which can help? And so we can exchange something, but we cannot milk only one cow. We cannot import all the products from India. So my wish for the future is that we will be able to create moments among therapists and people who are interested in that to produce new products using local herbs. And for that, we need the knowledge of both, like European, Italian doctors and therapists, and Indian doctors and therapists who know the original formulas. And beside this, I'm looking forward to the idea of ashrams and yoga and Ayurveda ashrams, because I think that yoga and Ayurveda, they go quite well hand to hand. No, they have the same understanding of the cosmos and of the balance of the individual, similar tools. So yeah, I think that the future will be to give the people in Europe and Italy the chance to absorb the vibration of Ayurveda with a residential experience more and more. Yeah. So I don't know if this is enough as a contribution, but this is the much I have to say. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Thank you much, ma'am, for sharing your work experience with us. Now, I would like to call our next speaker, Manuela. Her spiritual journey and wellness for her mind and body started 8 years ago. She is an Ayurveda therapist and work on the Thai massage and Ayurveda massage. Please begin with your talk, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Namaste. And thank you, Dr. Kartikeya, that invites me. Well, you all say a lot, and most of the thing that we can say. I'm Italian, but I work and I'm studying in the north of Switzerland, and I'm trying to work also in Italy, but the most of my work is in Switzerland. Well, I start with yoga, so I start with yoga my journey, and then I also make some training to become a teacher, and then I increase my knowledge with Ayurveda, and I'm trying to finish my study, but for sure I'm going to study forever. And I do massage treatment. I also know a little bit of nutrition and of course yoga. In my case, I already work in a center of Ayurveda, and we try to give to the person that come to us Ayurveda to all the aspects of Ayurveda. So treatment, massage, psychological situation, nutrition, and of course yoga. And we have also a guest house. I'm a responsible of Ayurveda guest house. And so people have the possibility to rest and get what the therapy and all the treatment they do. And so I think the rest after the massage, the rest after treatment, they give to them really a lot. So not just to go in some place and make a massage and then go back home without maybe understand a lot of what they already made. So I think this is important, that people can have time to understand what is happened. So the process, that the therapy is a process. But what we also give to people, or we try to give to people, is that their own responsibility. And this is something that maybe in Italy is a little bit miss in Italian way of thinking, because I think in Italy we just go to the doctor, take the pillow, and we hope that this help us to cure our. But I think we need so people that teach Ayurveda, people that make Ayurveda, need to give at the person the responsibility that they have to do also at home the practice. So has a lot of, you say, is an empirical method, and has an empirical method. People can do it also by themselves, of course, with instruction and help of therapist, doctor, and so on. And the other question, I think, is that we need more collaboration between therapists, between technique, between doctor, between naturopath, also Western doctor. So we need more doctor and naturopath that are specialized in Ayurveda, because we need to collaborate. So all in this way, we can create a total a total more people that can help others. And also because also therapists need the help of doctor. So in our center, in our guest house, we try to do this. We have a naturopath, we have doctor that collaborate with us. I'm a teacher. I'm a student of I studied with the Italian and Indian doctors and Italian and Indian teacher. So of course, so we need the origin. So we need the Indian doctors and therapists that help us, and we need that more specialists, more doctor in Italy were introduced in Ayurveda. I think this is really important, and so I think this is everything for me, and hope that this can be some inspiration. Also because in this moment we need a little bit, we need to try to give a little bit of hope and light at the people, and more than I think the never know, but more than the last years. And so we need to give people that possibility that they can do also something by themselves, and not just that we are in the high level and they are in the low level, and they just have to come to us and we give to them massage, we give to them something to take, some pillow, and that's all. I think it's important that people understand their own responsibility. In this way, maybe we can create also the system, because system in Italy is a little bit a chaos. And so if we can start to give the responsibility to people, maybe we can try to create this imaginarium, this idea to people to be responsibility of their own health. And so in this way, maybe we can change a little bit the system of Ayurveda and all these secondary alternative that are of course not alternative, but a deep and really science, what you all say, science of life. So I think this is all, and thank you for listening to me, and thank you for give me more knowledge today. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Manuela, for sharing your thoughts with us. Now let's begin with today's last speak from the Dr. Ayo Kulmielmi. Sir has started studying Ayurveda in India in 1987. Sir has been teaching Ayurveda to the doctors since 1997 and has been involved in solving legalities connected with the import of Ayurveda formulation from India. Sir has an international faculty member in Meru in Holland and a traditional medicine teacher since 1976. Please begin with your talk, sir.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for inviting me. And I guess that everyone is here because in one way or the other, we have realized how perfect is Ayurveda. And if we just take the word Veda, you know, the Veda is Nitya and Apaurushaya, so it's eternal and non-created. So Ayurveda and Veda does not have a beginning, does not have an end. So Ayurveda was there and it will always be there. But nevertheless, we have to be very practical because Ayurveda in India, as far as I know, is serving about 80% of population because it's very cheap. But nevertheless, India has not been able, Ayurveda was not able to create a disease-free society. So this means there's something is lacking or something has been lost better. That's why I will, I'm practicing Maharishi Ayurveda. I am a TM teacher also since 1976. And I did my thesis, I'm a medical doctor. I did my thesis on physiological and clinical researches on Maharishi Ayurveda, on transcendental meditation. And by now we have more than 650 scientific studies on the effect of TM. So we cannot forgive or forget better the value of transcending if we want to speak about Ayurveda. Ayurveda in Italy, let me just give you a brief story of Ayurveda in Italy, and then I will suggest very practical point because as you said, I was and I am still involved in with the Ministry of Health and about all the legalities of herbs. So if you want to cure and also have prevention with some rasayana, you need formulations. So I have very practical suggestion for that. So, but at the very first time I heard about Ayurveda in Italy was early 70s. I was student of medicine those days, and in Verona, I'm from Verona, North Italy, and there was a fair, it was called Erbora, and Mr. Willy Barabino was having a stand there on Ayurveda. It was the very first time I heard about Ayurveda. And since I was involved with India because of transcendental meditation, I was invited to go and listen to some congress in Villa Era. Villa Era was owned by Barabino near Torino. And there were several Vaidyas speaking about the effect of Ayurveda. But, you know, it was quite strange because they were taking one herb, one single herb, and then applying the herb, let's say on bronchitis, let's say Tulsi on bronchitis, and then see the effect. But as far as I knew and read a little bit about Ayurveda those days, I knew the importance of diet, and here everyone was suggesting daily routine, yearly routine. And so far, you know, so it was quite strange that this was considered Ayurveda, you know, this kind of scientific approach. But in 1981, and also Giovanni Crescione was mentioning, we were in India where Maharishi for the first time introduced Ayurveda. And we had a teacher there, was Brihaspati Dev Trigunaji. Triguna was a world expert on Nadi Vigyan. So he was teaching us, speaking more on Nadi Vigyan. And since that time, we started to have courses. And as Giovanni was saying, in 1985 in Como, we had the first Panchakarma Center. And we had Vaidyas coming to Italy or Europe, or we were going to India to study Ayurveda. And we have been studying with Dr. Divedi. I had some experience with mercury purification. We were able to reach the 9 samskara out of 18. You know that mercury is considered the best medicine once it's properly purified. And then we had Valaraj Maharishi. He was a foremost expert about Dravya Guna. And then we had Dr. Kasture. He was re-evaluating or reintroducing Panchakarma in India that was almost forgotten. And so far, you know, so we started to enter a little bit in Ayurveda. And when Maharishi saw that so many people were interested, he was very much into it. And so he was also questioning how is that Ayurveda is not producing. Ayurveda is amritanam, is for immortality, you know, for those who desire immortality. So it's for perfection. How is that in India we don't have perfection and we have Ayurveda? So we started to have Congress in 1987, 6 and 7. We had the very first Congress in Rome, national first, and then international Congress. And then we had starting to teach doctors in 1999, 98, 99. And then 1995, we started, 87, sorry, we started to import some Rasayana. And then further on, we started with some formulation. And then I'm coming back to this point because it's very important. But as far as, let me see where are the notes here. As far as Ayurveda, you know, modern Vaidyas are just saying that Maharishi did a great mistake. He just put his name before Ayurveda, just saying someone is giving this interpretation that Ayurveda belongs to Maharishi. But this is very, I mean, I don't want to use the word because it's not so nice word. But Veda, as I said, you know, is Nitya and Aparusha, eternal, non-created. So Maharishi was just reestablishing the connection between Ayu and Veda. So we cannot have health, we cannot have Vata, Pitta, Kapha in balance if we don't have Samhita of Rishi, Devata, and Chandas. Rishi, I remember, is the term that stands for the knower, Devata, the process of knowing, Chandas, the object of knowledge. Samhita means unity. Ayurveda, I remind you, is a Upaveda, means Veda subordinate. So like the precedent, the Veda, Rig Veda, for example, and Upaveda. Upaveda is Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Stapatya Veda, and Gandharva Veda. So it's a subordinate. When we don't have the precedent, then the vice president is taking care. But Ayurveda deals with matter, so deals with Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. But where are these Vata, Pitta, and Kapha coming from? They are coming from Rishi, Devata, and Chandas, because this is the starting point. So if we don't take care of the starting point of Ayurveda, Samhita of Rishi, Devata, and Chandas, not just knowledge, but real experience. And today we have the technology and the scientific paper that can tell us if you are really experiencing samadhi or transcending. Without the experience of transcending, without the Samhita of Rishi, Devata, and Chandas, unity means of Rishi, Devata, and Chandas, you cannot have a balance of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. It's impossible. So again, where is Veda? Veda, we have to ask Veda, where is Veda? Veda is not a book. It's not that you read the book and then you know Veda. Because Veda, when it speaks of itself, it says just very few words. Richo, the verses of the Veda, are in Kshara, in the collapse of A, Akshara, Richo, Akshare, in the Kshara, in the collapse of A, where the Deva, the laws, the most fundamental laws of natural law are residing. And those who don't have access to this experience, the verse of the Veda, Ayurveda, cannot do much for them. So we have to be able to transcend. Otherwise, there is no way out. There is no way out. That's why we have to evaluate and to reconsider the value of transcending. And now we have the data that can tell us that if this experience is true or not true, or if it's just some kind of mood making, you know. So now coming to the point, you know, importing medicine is very vital because otherwise how can you cure people if you don't have medicine? So if you go to classical formulations, you know, you have to consider that in Italy, in Europe, but in Italy, there is a list, it's called BELGRIT, that stands for Belgium, France, and Italy. They have a list. There are about 1,300 herbs there. If you are not in that list, those formulations, even if only one herb is inside that, 5 milligrams, if it's inside the formulation, that formulation cannot be used. So this means that we have to adapt. We have to remove those herbs, and those herbs are just like, for example, Sida cordifolia, Tenospora cordifolia, Silagit. Now they have introduced also aloe. Aloe cannot be used anymore in Italy. And Rheum emodi, rhabarber, Himalayan rhabarber. All the basma cannot be used, cannot enter Italy. So Ayurveda is a monk. That's why the Indian government, if there is any exponent here, should press a little bit, make some, something with the Italian government to see that Ayurveda has been used for thousands of years without side effect. And why are you forbidden, the entering of medicine in Italy or in Europe again? Then there is a second problem that we have to face, and this is contaminants and heavy metals. If you are taking medicine in India as they come, you have to test them, because if you don't test them, there is so much a level of mercury, of lead, of arsenic, of contaminants. So you are poisoning people. And this is what we have been doing. I have been doing for years now, testing. When the formula are coming, we have to test and be sure they don't have contaminants. Then this lady, I don't remember the name, Grandinetti, brought another very good point. And the point is that we have to start using our local herbs, because Ayurveda is suggesting we have to use not Indian herbs, our herbs. So this means we need a body, a group of people that start to study our herbs, not on the light of bronchitis, hepatitis, or headache, but on the light of the effect on Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, subdosha, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, Dhatu, all the 7 Dhatus, Agni, and Shrota. We have to know the effect of our herbs, and this has been lost because Ayurveda was surviving in India. Why in India? Because India is the most conservative countries in the world. So again, we are coming to this point. But there is one last point that we have to consider. When I was working with mercury, we reached the 9th samskara, 9th purification, then we have to stop because we were losing mercury. When mercury goes through 18 samskara, 18 purification, if you are able to reach that, 1 drop of mercury is removing all the stresses and strain and impurity from your body. Takes you to enlightenment straight away. So, but 9 samskara we were able to reach, then we have to stop it because we are losing mercury. So the point was, why are we losing mercury? And then Maharishi gave the answer, because the herbs are not proper, because of pollution. Pollution is not just in the air, in the water, in the ground. Pollution is also mental pollution of the people. So if we want to have Ayurveda, we have to create coherence in collective consciousness of the world. We have to integrate. And to integrate this quality, we need group practice on TM and TMCD program. And what we are doing, we are having now in the Brahmastan of India, 1,400 pandits, Vedic pandits, performing every day Ati Rudra Abhishek. Rudra is the name of Shiva. Shiva is the Lord of peace, let's say, of settledness, in the turbulent world atmosphere, performing Ati Rudra Abhishek to try to quiet down. But this effect will be visible when we reach 8,000. No, 1,331 Ati Rudra we need, but we need at least 8,000 Vedic pandits. So again, it's a mirage to think about, as someone else said before, collective consciousness is vital, is important. You cannot have the single one to be cured, to be healthy, if all the remaining of humanity is sick. Heaven, or is for everyone, or is for no one, because heaven, for definition, is heaven for everybody. If it's not for everybody, it's not heaven. So we have to consider also this aspect. Which aspect? That we need something to create peace in collective consciousness. And the last point How can you consider health if you forget Jyotish? Yam dukkha managatam. You avert the danger because before it arises, you have to introduce Vedic astrology. How can you have health if you don't live in Stapatya Veda? Stapatya Veda is the Veda how to, structure the house, how the orientation where the kitchen should be, the sleeping bed, to create again, health. How can you create health if you are living in a house south-oriented? It's the worst orientation of the house. So either you take the Veda total, and this is what Maharishi has done, or you just make a monk, A monk means you will never be able to reach what Ayurveda is promising, so perfection and enlightenment. If you allow me 1 more minute, can I have 1 more minute?
Yes, please, sure.
Yeah, okay. Let me share my screen. Can you see now?
No.
Can you see my screen?
No, not visible to us.
Oh, wait. No, you have to enable me. Because it says that I'm not able to because of you. Can you do that?
Yes, I'm doing. Now you can share, please.
Yeah, okay. So let's start from here. Here. Can you see this picture?
Yes, it is visible now.
This is the Ashvata. Ashvata, you see? Ashvata, know the Ashvata, say the Veda, and you know the entire universe. Ashvata is a tree with the root on the top and the leaves below. Where is the Ashvata? Ashvata is here. This is the central system, the central nervous system. This is the brain, and this is the caudal spine with all the afferent, infra, inside and outside nerves, from the central spine. And this, is coming from Veda and Vedic literature in human physiology. It was said, Veda, Atma, the self, pure consciousness, reverberation of Atma is the Veda, the sound of the Veda, and from Veda, Sharir, the body, and Vishva, the universe, and all together, Brahm. So know the Ashvata. Again, this in the book that I suggest to everyone, just go through it and you will know it. And then this again, let's go to this. See, where the Devas are. Where are the Devas? Outside there in the sky, the Devas are inside. They are also outside, but it's inside. This is the central, the brain seen from below, and this is Ganesh. Can you see the correspondence? So Ganesh is not outside there, he's inside our brain. Just I show you just another one. This is at the end. Here, where are the stars? Can you see this one?
It's not visible, sir.
It's not visible? Oh, let me give more light. Is visible now?
No.
Wow, why that? Anyway, was that? Sorry, 1 second, and I come back.
Sorry, doctor, I think you smaller your own screen. You have to large your own screen.
No,
Maybe.
because here is already large. Let me see here. Wow.
Sir, your knowledge on this topic is very vast and very deep, and we would like to do a separate workshop with you, so we can get the proper information, and you will be also able to give us the proper message what you want to give. Is it possible? Yeah, this is visible now.
So you are on mute.
Doctor, you are muted. Your
Dottore, il
mic is-
microfono, dottore, per favore, il microfono.
Okay, can you hear now?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Now you're
So
audible.
here are the 9 graphs, you know. If you speak to, when you speak of Vedic astrology or astrology to an astronomer, say, how can you, a far distance planet, galaxy, or anything, you know, can influence us? They are so far. But indeed, they are not far, they are inside us. If you look the brain, the brain, from the ganglia, the brain ganglia, the basis of the brain, you have the hypothalamus in the center, and then you have 9 nuclei outside, you know, around it. The thalamus is the Surya, is the sun, and then the hypothalamus is the moon, and then all the other nuclei are representing the 9 planets. So again, you know, where are the grass? The grass are inside of us. The Creator didn't give us a grand lens, you know, to look the laws of nature inside of us, how they move. But they amplify, and in the universe, you see what is inside of us. All the 9 graphs are inside. And now the 9 graphs, now, I mean, time is also passing, but we can talk about it in future. We have the 12 Rashi, the 12 signs. The 12 signs are corresponding to 12 cranial nerves. So the Veda and Vedic literature is structured in human physiology. We have exactly 1-to-1 correspondent, you know, among the human physiology and the structure of the Veda. So again, you know, how can we think Ayurveda is separate from all the other aspects of Vedic literature? How can we expect health, collective health, individual health, if we don't transcend? And transcending is not a fancy, you know, again, word. Is actual. There is a physiological correspondence. I've done 3 years studies on EEG, and I can tell you, if I put the EEG on your brain, if you are sleeping, if you are awake, or if you are dreaming. And at the same time, I can tell you if you are transcending or not transcending, because physiology is changing when we are in samadhi, in the transcendental field. So again, we have to bring everything out of mysticism, out of some philosophical thoughts, and come to the actuality of Veda. In actuality of Veda, we have also this Vaidya Dhiman. You know, Vaidya Dhiman is from Varanasi. And in Varanasi, we have this Kashi, you know, Vaishvanath Kashi, you know, is the temple for Lord Shiva. And now President Modi, President of India, that is practicing transcendental meditation, is opening, you know, it was a temple, you know, almost lost in the towns, narrow streets, bazaar of everything. And now they are open, you know, away from the temple, you know, to the Ganga. And also in Ayodhya, we are again, you know, removing some, thanks to suggestion of Maharishi, we are removing many houses with a great problem to open again the Ram temple to the river, you know, Sarayu River. So again, this is just to give you a perspective that in future, of course, we have problem because, you know, also this other lady, I don't remember the name, was mentioning we have to educate people. But to educate people, you have to change collective consciousness because knowledge is structuring consciousness. Knowledge is structuring consciousness. You have to change consciousness, not to keep giving knowledge, intellectual knowledge, because we have 1 teacher and 30 students, and 1 is excelling, or 2 or 5, and 3 other more.
Sir, I think you have mute your mic.
Sorry, I think that, that's it, I cannot go on and on, but time is over, more than over. So again, what I suggest, finally, some help regarding formulation, some more checking about the heavy metals from this formulation that are coming from India. We had to change some formulations. This is a big problem because otherwise we don't have the real formulation, basically. So how can we develop Ayurveda if we don't have, the real formulations? And to have the real formulation,
it is important. What you have told is very important, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. Really,
yes.
This is a very important point we missed.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us actual insight about the current status of Ayurveda and what should be done for the future moving forward. And thank you so much, all speakers, and congratulations for this great sessions. It is definitely going to enlighten to everyone listening in this webinar.
Okay.
Now, the blessings of elder is the essential part of any successful
We
event.
speak after magical.
Sorry. Blessing of elders is an essential part of any successful event. And today we are blessed to have with us Professor Dr. Yogesh Mishra, sir. Sir is the organizing secretary of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad. Sir is the main character of behind every successful event of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad. Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad is able to conduct the informative events only because of your timely guidance, sir. We all are eagerly waiting for your blessing words. Please, sir.
Thank you. Namaskar to all the dignitaries present in this international webinar, mostly from India and Italy. And I'm very much happy to know that the ideas and the original ideas of Ayurveda are well understood and propagated by Anand Ashram and some other institutions of Italy and other scholars of the Italy. Ayurveda, as many of the speakers denoted, is a science of life, and today it is being recognized globally as it has proved its utility in last few years and especially within 2 years of the global pandemic period. Yoga and Ayurveda, yoga and meditation are the part and parcel of Ayurveda, because Ayurveda doesn't care for the body, it also care for the happiness, and happiness is depend upon our manas. And in the definition of Ayurveda, the person Atma, soul, Atma means soul, Man means manas. And the happiness of all these things, prasannatmendriya manaha swasthya pradiviyate. If the person is good enough in its physical character, but he is lacking in the adhyatmic bindu or atma and man, and manas is also governed by 3 attributes: They are sattva, rajas, and tamas. As in the start of the this meeting and this webinar, it was said that Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad is committed to be a body of the excellent teachers, excellent researchers, excellent authors, excellent clinicians, and excellent entrepreneurs and social reformers who will work tirelessly to take Ayurveda to the zenith of this glory collectively. And the collectivity, it is the thing, it is the base of organization. There is a mantra denoting the speciality of the organization. Samano mantra samiti samani. Samanam manah sah chittamesham. Common be our prayers. Common be our end. Common be our purpose. Common be our deliberations. Common desires. Unfilled to our hearts. United be our intentions, and perfect be union amongst us. And to achieve the goal of a good organization, we are working on a path of the continuous dialogues, discussions, and deliberations as reflected in this organizational mantra. So many points has been raised in this webinar. Our organizers and our workers are seeking for the good and helpful nature of the whole of the universe, whole of the world, so on the global level. And we will try to have a correlation with a permanent correlation with all of the persons who were guiding us from the Italy. And in future, we will have different type of discussions and dialogues to improve the status of Ayurveda in whole of the world. Thank you. Thank you for all persons, and namaskar to all the persons. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, sir, for these blessings and the words of wisdom. Now we have to come to the last part of this international webinar, where to show the gratitude to our distinguished guests and the speakers. For that, I would like to invite a Dean and the Head of Department of Fundamental Principles of Ayurveda of All India Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi, Professor Dr. Mahesh Vyas, sir. Please, sir.
Namaste to one and all. It's my immense pleasure to present the vote of thanks for this international webinar on the topic of current status and future of Ayurveda in Italy, organized by Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad in collaboration with Holistic School, Anand Ashram, Milan, Italy. First of all, I would like to thank our today's chief guest, Professor Dr. K.S. Dhiman sir, ex-Director General CCRAS New Delhi, for always being there with his big support for Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, making time for such kind of activities, guiding and motivating us with his precious words. Next, I would like to thank Professor Yogesh Chandra Mishra ji, National Organizing Secretary Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, for his Ashirvachan, which was very encouraging for all of us. Also, thanks to our today's distinguished guest, Carmen Kohler, Director, Angel Ayurveda Italy, for making this webinar happening with their graceful presence. Next, I would like to thank Professor Dr. K.K. Dwivedi ji for welcome address. I'm also thankful to Dr. Suren Chaudhary ji and Vaidya Dr. Swaminath Mishra ji for introduction of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, especially the Vishwa Vibhag and its activities throughout the world. With this, I extend my vote of thanks to our today's chairperson, respected Shubhaji Satyaranjan Paul, founder of Holistic School, Anand Ashram, Milan, Italy, for his valuable presence and kind words. Further, I would like to take the golden opportunity to offer my vote of thanks to our today's eminent speakers, Anujata Violante, Dr. Lor Guglielmi, Giovanni Kisone, for sharing their deep insight about the topic with us, which were very informative. I also extend my gratitude towards the honorable speakers, Valentina Napolitano, Giovanni Fico, Georgia Valentina, Foiser, Sudeepa Mara, Grandinetti, and Manuela for enlightening our knowledge with their skillful words and for making this webinar a grand success. I am also thankful to Professor Dr. Ashwini Bhargavji for Deepa Prajwalan, Dr. Nikita Sharma ji for the Dhanvantari Vandana, and Dr. Bhagyashri for nicely conducting the program. I also thank both the coordinators of today's session, Dr. Kartikeya Tyagi ji and Vaidya Swaminath Mishra ji, for such a wonderful event. Friends, the main purpose behind organizing such kind of international webinar by Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad is to enhance our knowledge about how Ayurveda is doing outside the country, how the people all over the globe are dealing with Ayurveda, how they are willing to adopt Ayurveda in their daily life, and also to develop coordination among the Ayurveda practitioners of different countries and get to knowledge about their experience in dealing patient with Ayurveda successfully. With this, again, I would like to thank all of you and a special thanks to Dr. Kartikeya and all the learned listeners to remain present throughout the entire session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this great vote of thanks. And thank you so much, Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, again for putting forth in front of us such a nice and informative international webinar that has truly enlightened us. I hope that all listeners who have remained connected to us throughout the session will get highly enriched. So with this, I take your leave. Thank you so much once again. Shubhratri from India. Namaste.